Hey, Maria here from my arts page, and I'm in my studio, enjoying a bit of quiet time, and the heater is on. It's raining, and I can smell the paper that is in front of me. This is all mushroom paper that I'm excited to show you because it's a project that I took on this summer, at the end of the summer, and it really is enticing because I'm like, these are plants that are growing off the trees, and most of them are not edible, and they have the same components as tree paper, so they make a really great medium. So there's a sort of a secret because they will shrink because I'm using them raw. You can dry them out, so this is like a Russula. You can dry them out and then reconstitute them in water, which is fine, but once they're wet, they're going to shrink again. So they do need to be laid and pressed between two cloths, and it'll take a few days to dry. So if you don't do that, these are some examples where it just like kind of folds in on itself, crinkles, and it looks really cool, and I think that it could be used as a sculptural item, like if you wanted to form it over something like bowls. But yeah, it makes some pretty cool shapes. Yeah, so these are some of the pieces that are a little bit flatter. They're pretty thick and multicolored. They smell really strong. I thought that the smell would dissipate, but some of the mushrooms are very potent. Using the inky caps and the boletes, when they sort of die, they turn black, which is where you're getting this black color, and it's like rot basically. So I love the way it looks though, it's so dramatic. But a lot of the pieces that I tried with the black wouldn't peel off because you don't want to use paper as your drying medium because it'll just stick right to it. So probably my most successful piece was this one, and I did rip it, but it's two different mushrooms. I don't actually know the name of this red one, but it gave it a really nice pink tone, and then on the other side too. So that was a really cool experiment. It did still ripple, but that's okay, right? Because I mean, it's art, so it doesn't need to be usable per se. I mean, it's more of the page is the art more than the painting or the artwork on it. These ones are just plain Russula, and I believe these are the Russula. I did do an oyster batch, but I don't know if that got mixed in with others. And I don't have measurements on the amount of paper, because I would soak some paper and then add it to the mushroom, blend it together. But this is a nice white color, quite thin, and it worked out really good. So that's my update on the paper. And I wanted to give an update on where I'm at as an artist. The summer has been incredible in the form that there's always so many things growing and so many potential materials. So I've really expanded beyond the dyes and the inks to the fibers, which have always been there, but they keep expanding. So there's more like cattails and lilies and dandelion stems coming in, flax, nettles, and it's just kind of all drying and waiting for me to use it this winter. And then we've got a lot of dye plants, but mostly I'm kind of holding back on those. I'm not really drawn to a lot of colors lately. I really love the contrast of black and white or muted tones, earth tones. I have a lot of indigo that I've dyed or I've dried, and so we'll see if I can make something with that. But I feel like that's a whole process unto itself. And the dyeing, fabric dyeing, is a project that I want to take on one day. It just hasn't ever happened yet. But one thing that kind of continually comes into my face is that, why do you keep starting new projects, or why do you keep trying on these new mediums, and living with a bit of guilt because of that? And I think that we need to stop that narrative and just embrace who we are. That we're creative and we want to try new things, and that releases like this endorphin rush, and it's exciting. Of course, it's exciting to become proficient in one area, which would be nice, but I think that we can just take it as it comes and grow in our skills in multiple levels, in multiple ways. And depending on the mood, depending on the people in our lives, the weather, the climate, like how our spirit is feeling, what it needs to be nourished, and not put any pressure. There's no pressure that you need to stay in one category, in one art form. Like, we just need to let go of that. So yeah, so I still have the inks, I still have the paper, and it just expands, and I love it. I think it's really beautiful. We just really need to be more playful and less restricted. So that's my advice today.